So driving home, the other totem animal that is showing up is the dove. And the dove has been coming up a lot lately, particularly since I suspected I was pregnant. And it comes to me. I'll hear its call. I'll see it cross my path or whatever in my moments of deep despair. Because honestly, I'll be the first person to admit my life is not at all put together. My life is one big mess. And of course, since thinking I'm pregnant, now it's, I don't know. And work was getting harder and harder. And, I would leave work just in pain. Very fatigued, just feeling like I couldn't go on. And inevitably, the dove would cross my path somehow. Or even, if I was just crying for some reason and happened to be by myself, the dove would cross my path. So I quickly realized, that the dove, for me, because the associations I read they didn't really gel with me. So I had to go back to my own intuition with the dove. And the dove is related to birth for me. So here I have one totem that is related to the need to change and frequently change and be willing to be unpredictable. And another totem that's related to birth. Now, I want to talk about a third factor in this, but it's related more to the dove for probably obvious reasons. But the number 33 keeps showing up in my life and has been a very constant companion since I got back from paradise. I mean, we're talking like 8 times a day. I'll look at the clock and just, to me it seems like totally random times, but it's always something 33. I'll be looking around, just see different signs, and there's always 33. 33 everywhere is 33. And it's almost like it can just be illuminated and set out from other things. And I know that 33 is something to pay attention to. And I don't know how, because this wasn't a conscious thing, but the dove started showing itself in relationship to the 33. And when I was asking myself what the 33 meant, my first thing was it had to do with Jesus. And shortly after I got back from paradise, I had to go back to the beginning of where this dark night of my soul started, and that was me being asked to go to church. And I didn't want to go to church because I was begging God, honestly. This was the first time I really started communicating. God was the only person I would communicate to, and I didn't think there was anything wrong with me talking with God, but apparently there was. That's not normal, apparently. I didn't see any problem with it. So here I was in my yard. I'm given the instruction, I want you to go to church. Oh God, no, please don't make me do that. I really don't want to do that. You have no idea how much I don't want to do that. I just found you. It's been a couple of years, but I just found you. I'm finally repairing my relationship with you. Because at 16, I renounced God, Jesus, and the Christian faith because I couldn't believe in a God that would punish everyone to an eternal life of damnation just because they weren't Christian. So at 16, my spiritual crisis began. And by the time I was 27, 11 years later, my daughter was 3 and I'm watching her play and I hear this voice, "This is how I see you." Really? God, is that you? I haven't talked to you in so long. Because I went into a very dark spiritual blindness where I couldn't believe in the Christian God, even though I wanted to. And there were so many days, even in my dark moments, where I would still cry out to God. Because that's who I needed. I needed God. But when this message finally made its way through to me of "this is how I see you," I'm like, so really, you see me, little me. as a parent. And if I can understand parenting, God, then I can start to understand you. Well, I mean, I don't understand parenting. There's a lot I don't understand. I mean, of course, my daughter's 3, and I think I actually do understand something. That's hilarious. Any parents out there will understand that. Every day your children show you just how much you don't know. But I said, okay, well, I can start to understand you if you're coming at me from the perspective of parenting. So then, fast forward a couple more years, and then I hear this, I want you to go to church. No, I really don't want to do that. And just about a year before that, I had met Jesus, and I had found Jesus. And I was like, I can't afford to lose you guys. It has taken me this long to find you. I can't afford it. Go. So I went, and it was the best time and the worst time. Like I've alluded to you before. But it put me on that path of the spiritual blindness. So when I got back from paradise, that was one of the first things I had to do. As I'm looking around me and looking at all the messes I have in my life and what I try to run away from, realizing that you can't run away from messes. You have to fix them. I really was hoping I could just leave to paradise and throw a bomb behind me. You know, like those movies where they're walking away and they chuck the bomb behind them and everything explodes, but yet they're walking forward into this, new future, new beginning. And that's all apparently okay. That's what I wanted to do. They can do it in movies, why can't I do it? No, I came back. I had to. And I'm looking at all the messes around me, messes that I need to fix. And this is one mess that really came to the forefront of what I needed to address. I had to go back to church. I had to go back, though, as a wholly humbled individual. And as an individual that had, and I didn't understand this until I went there, but I had undergone a huge heart center awakening. And so I walked into those doors knowing that to them I was the pariah. I was the leper. I was whomever they would consider to be an outcast, unclean, or whatever. Even though they say they don't have those beliefs, they do. I walked into that door knowing that that was the behavior that basically kicked me out. Told me, your services are no longer desired here because you're not like us. And it broke my heart. So I walked back in that door knowing that I was entering into that space where I wasn't going to be liked. And a really amazing thing happened. A dove poured over me, became part of me, and just, sometime during this last year, Jesus came to me and asked me again. This was before leaving for paradise, but I had to actually do this once I got back. Go to the house that bears my name, and says it's mine, but it is not mine, and make it mine. Go to the house that bears my name, but is not mine, and make it mine. And that was what I had to do when I got back. And I went in there with an open heart. So you know what? Let's get rid of semantics. Let's get rid of this stuff that's dividing us all the time. And my heart wants to speak to your heart. Our hearts can speak to each other. I felt it. I knew it. I knew everything that was going on with them. I knew all the thoughts that was going through their heads. And they didn't. And of course, they didn't want to believe me. So it's like, yep, I'm really going to Nineveh here. So I'm going to leave that one there. But the dove, it's about the rebirth, the 33. And so Easter became a big time. And that was also a time of some destruction within me. But it was really a reborn, a rebirth for me. It was an integration for me of my higher self descending into my body raising up to meet my higher self, my animal self and my higher self coming together. And there's a lot of turmoil that happens in that process. And I've heard other places of a spiritual death. I don't know. You know what? I need to gather my thoughts. So, and this is over 10 minutes now. Yeah, I totally blew that goal. Bye.